Hi everybody, it's me, William from GangStalking Canada. Today I'm going to explain the Organized Stalking program the best I can. We can call it Organized Stalking, Police Stalking, harassment, organized harassment, but it's mostly known under the name of GangStalking, which I think it's not the proper name. I will go over many aspects of this program briefly on each of them. In this presentation, there is clip videos and I will comment sometimes. There is multiple parts of this presentation, so I will put the links on the other parts. Of the other parts in the description. By the way, if you don't know about this program or it's the first time you hear about it, please be open-minded. How are you planning to learn something if you already know everything? And feel free to make your own research on the subject. Here it's a couple of clip videos of targeted individual who reported their stalking or harassment to the news or media.
Or maybe you sensed it, that feeling that you're being watched. The state has laws against stalking on the books, making it a felony.
What if police don't recognize it? And what if it's a complete stranger who's bothering you? Tonight, Joe Conger and the I-Team investigates.
Cynthia Verbeff is moving. Her home, she says, has become a house of horrors.
I feel that I've lost my mind, I've lost my life.
Incident reports from law enforcement tell the tale. Numerous break-ins at the address, vandalism to her car, her motorcycle, her computer. Verbeff believes she's being targeted.
Everything, they just went through everything.
But sheriff's detectives had little to go on because the vandals, though often destructive, stole nothing. Even from her portable safe, drilled into and torn apart, the contents, the jewelry, remained untouched. Verbeff says her troubles didn't start until she met these two men. One would become her ex-boyfriend, the other was his partner in a San Antonio pain clinic, Dr. John Hall.
Very first time I met him, we went to his house on 4th of July, and he told me that because I was already there in his house, I would be the next victim that I was going to be stalked.
Verbeff found the doctor's prophecy to be correct. She suffered months of oddness.
Coming in through the front door, and I touch the doorknob, and it just falls into pieces.
Lights left on, doors open, furniture moved, her clothes dryer disassembled. Her friends say they noticed the strange happenings. They tell the I-Team they even witnessed a gas oven left turned on.
As soon as you walk in the house, you'd smell gas in the house. So the whole house smelled from gas. So immediately turned it off and opened up the doors, but I mean, that thing doesn't just turn on by itself, and it had been running for a good length of time.
Or the time Verbeff and a friend say they were stalked at a mall.
I saw him following us to several stores, and I would see the man close to us, looking at us.
The girls had the presence of mind to snap a photo with their phone. Verbeff says all these happenings culminated in an assault. The 39-year-old believes someone drugged the food in her home and returned later to rape her.
I know something happened to me because a woman knows.
She filed a report and was briefly hospitalized with signs of sexual assault. Dr. Hall says what Verbeff describes is known as gang stalking. Indeed, he writes about it in his book, A New Breed, Satellite Terrorism in America. Verbeff is not alone. Others in San Antonio have contacted the I-Team and described similar types of occurrences.
The urine arsenic is above normal. We shouldn't have arsenic.
Linda Johnson says someone poisoned her water supply with heavy metals in northwest San Antonio. Then there's her story about the bracelet that went missing, then reappeared. Police, she says, have stopped listening to her. And like Verbeff, she too believes she's been sexually assaulted, although she never filed a police report.
I've gone to doctors many times, and I've been to the Rape Crisis Center for counseling, yes.
Many of these so-called victims of what Hall describes as gang stalking meet up on the internet, finding comfort and information from others who say they too suffer from electronic stalking, mind control, and even rape. Loosely defined, gang stalking is where organized groups target and harass unwilling victims to the point of paranoia, leaving the victims to deal with skeptical family members and skeptical law enforcement.
This isn't stalking done by a former spouse or former boyfriend or someone that's disgruntled at you, but stalking that's being done by total strangers in an organized fashion.
And some internet links take you here to the book mentioned earlier, written by Dr. John Hall.
The book is fact. It's not a book of fiction. What I've wrote about is an isolated story here in San Antonio.
Dr. Hall says it is a story about himself and the harassment and rapes his ex-girlfriends allegedly suffered beginning in 1996. Dr. Hall believes the people behind it are well-organized operatives using government satellite technology to terrorize him and other victims.
All voicing the same complaints: organized stalking, weird electronic disturbances going on in their homes. Most of the women are complaining of drugging and sexual assault. So it's a big national problem.
Verbeth bought the book, and what she read, she says, caused her stomach to turn, because within the chapters in the story, she found similarities to her own situation.
I pulled out the book and I started reading, and I'm like, oh my God, it's exactly what's happening.
It's like turning the pages of your own story.
Everything.
Remember the doors, windows, even the clothes dryer taken apart? Page 35, third paragraph, talks about reassembling appliances. The drugged food and rape? Page 52 talks of concealing rohypnol, the date rape drug, in drinks and food. The account in Hall's book is chilling, and the I-Team uncovered some truth to his story. San Antonio police reports indicate there was a rape reported in 2007 in the same quad of condos where one of Dr. Hall's girlfriends supposedly lived. San Antonio police say the condo rape remains under investigation. And Bexar County detectives say Verbeth's assault remains open as well. And although there are some interesting connections to Dr. Hall in the book, law enforcement won't and cannot say if Dr. Hall is even a person of interest. The I-Team thought the similarities were striking and asked him,
could you in fact be the person that's creating this mess for these women?
And that's actually one of the reasons why I got out of my ex-fiance's life. To make sure that they weren't victimizing her in order to get at me.
Dr. Hall says he's been targeted by the same groups. There's mention in the book of a conspiracy by the criminals and by fellow doctors. Dr. Hall says the Texas Medical Board retaliated against him for uncovering the gang stalking. The I-Team confirmed one local hospital suspended Dr. Hall's clinical privileges for 2 months in 2006. In 2007, the Texas Medical Board ordered 2 mental evaluations of Dr. Hall. The first came back normal, but a second evaluation found a probable delusional disorder and ordered psychiatric treatment. And in 2008, Hall's license was suspended, this time when he tested positive for cocaine. In the book, he explains the operatives drugged him with cocaine periodically. Dr. Hall's medical license has since been reinstated.
If you look nationwide, almost everyone that complains of this eventually gets sent to a psychiatrist. The psychiatrists don't look into the technology. They don't do any research into whether or not any of this is possible.
With his book published, Dr. Hall is taking his message nationally. He's appeared on cable TV shows.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hall.
Late night radio.
And our guest tonight, Dr. John Hall.
And even has his own radio program in the works.
There have been several people in my midst, obviously, that have been victimized, but if you look at it on a larger scale, it is a national problem as well.
Dr. Hall says the problem is gang stalking, seeking to victimize innocent women and sully his reputation for exposing them. For the I-Team, Joe Conger, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Dr. Hall's belief is that we all face some sort of terrorism in our lives that is mostly unseen and deadly. He contends criminals are tapping into our government surveillance systems to gain access to our lives and minds. As for the alleged rapes mentioned in that story, no one has been charged, but both San Antonio Police and Bexar County Sheriff's deputies say they continue to investigate.
A 58-year-old woman who has filed several lawsuits against local, state, and federal officials wants to be Louisville's next mayor.
She claims there's a widespread conspiracy to keep her quiet. So who is Connie Marshall? Steve Bergen attended her news conference today. Joins us live now with more. Steve.
Vicki Carissa, Democrat Connie Marshall says she is a businesswoman with a background in real estate and a civil rights activist. She's presently unemployed. Marshall believes there's a campaign on behalf of some corrupt officials to sabotage her campaign.
I have no ties to the special interests. I'm spiritually based, and I believe in honesty, integrity, and accountability.
And Connie Marshall says she's been fighting for accountability for some time. She's filed several lawsuits charging a widespread government cover-up. And that's one of the reasons she contends she's been assaulted 150 times.
I have been assaulted on a regular basis through electromagnetic technology. That includes microwaving, infrasound, VA satellite.
One lawsuit was filed against Louisville Gas and Electric, charging the utility with torturing and tormenting Miss Marshall by turning lights and other electrical appliances off and on.
I've had about maybe 4 or 5 TVs destroyed. I've had about 7 telephones or more, computers, fax machines, all of these things destroyed.
She claimed an electric current coming through a telephone caused her to have a paralyzed feeling. The LG&E suit was dismissed with prejudice as frivolous. Marshall also sued the U.S. Attorney, Governor Beshear, the sheriff, and police chief, claiming government waste and fraud, racism, physical and mental assault, and illegal incarceration. Earlier this month, she sued federal judges. That suit accuses them of participating in or willfully allowing gang stalking. She wants the judges impeached, incarcerated, and is seeking $20 million in damages. Marshall says the government is also conspiring to break up families.
My grandchildren were taken illegally by the state for federal funding, and they were also abused in state's care, beaten, made to go without food, and illegally placed for adoption.
She contends that and the fact she was the victim of a hate crime are other motives behind the electronic attacks and illegal surveillance.
I find my fight is with the entire Commonwealth of Kentucky, and I feel that it was done because of the complaints that I have filed against them, which are legitimate complaints.
Marshall also claims other local civil rights activists have been the targets of electronic assaults, including the late Reverend Lewis Coleman. Marshall told me she's unemployed because every job she's ever had has been destroyed. She filed her candidacy papers on Wednesday, but points out she notified the state of her intentions to run last August. 2 weeks ago, Marshall filed a lawsuit against WLKY and WHAS, alleging the stations have tried to sabotage her bid for mayor. Steve Bergen, WLKY News.
A Snohomish County woman targeted one of her colleagues at work, writing nasty letters to her children, starting a hateful website, even telling neighbors she was a sex offender. Well, none of it was true, but the woman's reputation was ruined, and today the woman who did it all learned the price she'll pay in an Everett courtroom. Our North Sound Bureau Chief Ana Velasquez was at the hearing and joins us live now at the courthouse with details. Ana?
Well, Steve, the defendant's name is Christina Orozco, and she was sentenced to 10 months in the county jail. That is the high end of the standard range for felony stalking. Now, today, the judge, Judge Gerald Knight, he used words like relentless, evil, and vile to describe this woman.
It's all remorse for you that you're sorry that you're in the situation that you're in, and you feel sorry for yourself.
Christina Orozco, a former Snohomish County Public Works employee, was convicted in June of stalking a fellow female employee for nearly a year. Her victim, who asked Cairo 7 not to identify her, told the court Orozco was very calculated and very effective in destroying her career, her personal and family life, so much so that she's had to quit her job of 13 years and move out of the area. She is still fearful of Orozco. Judge Gerald Knight read the letters Orozco sent to the victim's young children to illustrate how evil her tactics were.
Sending letters to them, asking them, how does it feel to be your mother, who is a sick that doesn't have real and who's an alcoholic.
Besides the letters, Christina Orozco set up a website saying defamatory things about her victim and sent false sex offender notifications to neighbors, elected officials, and future employees, making the victim appear she was a convicted sex offender. Orozco's violated a restraining order, and now she's a convicted felon.
I'll not physically destroying and killing her. You did everything in your power to kill and destroy her name and reputation.
To explain her.
Now, even after today's sentencing, Orozco did not offer any reason why she decided to stalk her victim. But the victim, she did hire a private investigator to bring this case to police's attention. You'll hear from that investigator coming up tonight at 6. For now, reporting live outside the Everett Courthouse, I'm North Sound Bureau Chief Ana Velasquez, Carol 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, so we got here. This is the Ku Klux Klan, commonly called the KKK, or simply the Klan. It's the name of 3 distinct movements in the United States that have advocate extremist reactionary currents such as white supremacy, white nationalism, anti-immigration, and especially in later iteration, Nordicism, anti-Catholicism, and anti-Semitism. Historically, the KKK used terrorism, both physical assault and murder, against group or individuals whom they oppose. All 3 movements have called for the purification of the American society, and all are considered right-wing extremist organizations. That was a quick definition of these guys. In other words, they are like perps. They're like gang stalkers. It's the same thing. It's just older. And the target. Like these people, what we got here? These people flourished in the late 1860s. I believe it was in the south of United States, in Tennessee. And yeah, they were terrorizing people, obviously. But they got stopped. Like, these people were like a group of military, I think it's a Confederate army. And they got stopped by the federal government because, you know, they were killing black people and stuff. That's bad. And obviously the camera showed up also in those days, in those years. So they had to hide. It was hard for them. And in the 1920s, the second group came in, but I believe it was more like 1915 the second group came, but still. They came up with capes, ropes, and you know, that coney hat they have. Obviously they wear that because they want to hide. They got cameras there. Everybody knows it's illegal, so that's why they were hiding under those ropes. But even though these people think they're above the law, they have a superiority complex. And then they think they can go around and target people, destroy stuff, burn people, burn crosses and shit, intimidate, even hang black people, kill people. They don't care. They don't care because they're organized. These guys, you gotta understand the power of organization. It's huge. And it's hard to make them fall. Even if you sue them or whatever, these guys gonna support each other with lies. Obviously, they're gonna go to court and lie. They don't care about you. They don't care about anything but their little group and whatever they believe. So they think they have the right to kill. They think they have some kind of license to kill. These cowards, they basically they took over the government and corporation. They do that easy. They infiltrate. And they infiltrate any organization out there. And their power is even more bigger. Then now, if you have a problem with them after being targeted or something, no one would take your complaint. No one. Because these guys are all over the place. They're going to make sure that your lawsuit or whatever goes nowhere near them. Or just don't go nowhere. So I think you can see the similarity. If you believe in the KKK, I hope you believe in GangStalking, because it's pretty much the same thing. I believe the difference with KKK is they would actually kill you. They won't wait for you to kill yourself or guys lie to you and shit. You know what I mean? They will actually kill you. These guys don't care. Okay, let's continue. Nazi Germany. Yeah, These guys are the real, can I say that? They love fascism. um, I don't know if you remember, but in the 20s and in the 30s, the government, uh, media, churches, union, they were all kind of fascist minded, you know. Just in Germany, these people were targeting Jews, and not only them, even in Russia and other countries, they were targeting Jews. That's a form of gang stalking. That's obvious. And in America, in the same years and even before, they were targeting black people. It was all that's kind of fascism. And obviously, we have how can I say that? The well-known, the Stasi police. Let me give you a brief description of the Stasi police. This is the Ministry of State Security, commonly known as the Stasi, literally state security, also state security services. That was the official state security service of the German Democratic Republic, GDR, colloquially known as East Germany. It has been described as one of the most effective and repressive intelligence and secret police agencies to have ever existed. The Stasi was headquartered in East Berlin, with an extensive complex in Berlin-Lichtenberg and several smaller facilities throughout the city. The Stasi motto was Shield and Sword of the Party, referring to the ruling Socialist Unity Party of Germany. Erich Mielke was its longest-serving chief in power for 32 years of the GDR's 40 years of existence. One of his main tasks was spying on people, spying on the population, mainly through a vast network of citizen turned informant, and fighting any opposition by overt or covert measures, including hidden psychological destruction of dissidents, literally meaning decomposition. Its main directorate for reconnaissance was responsible for both espionage and for conducting uh, covert operation in foreign countries. Under its longtime head Marcus Wolf, this directorate gained a reputation as one of the most effective intelligence agencies of the Cold War. Numerous Stasi officials were prosecuted for their crimes after 1990 because this is criminal. You can't go around and spy on people and cause disruption and all kinds of shit like that on innocent citizens. You can't do that. We have a law. We have a justice. We have courts. Whatever. After German reunification, the surveillance file that the Stasi had maintained on millions of East Germans were laid open so that any citizen could inspect their personal file on request. These files are now maintained by the Federal Commissioner for the Stasi Records. So I hope all these, these perps have a plan in mind, because if they get caught and the government has to stop this gang stalking program, they're gonna have to put those files publicly. Hope these guys have a plan. There's a lot of people gonna go to jail or whatever. Just saying. Okay, next. COINTELPRO. Yeah, this famous program, which is in the United States. I believe it was conducted by the FBI. This, I think, what's the acronym for that? The Federal Bureau of Investigation. Yeah, whatever. These guys, they made that COINTELPRO. It stands for Counterintelligence Program. These guys were basically gang stalking people. If you know what's gang stalking, if you don't know, at the end of this whole presentation, you understand what happened to those victims there. They gang stalk these people. Like we got victims here, Malcolm X. Why you guys people? How do you think he died? This is all documented. You just Google it, you'll see. FBI, they killed him. Martin Luther King, Stocky Carmichael, the Elijah Muhammad, Honorable Pat Brown, and just many more. All being gang stalked by the government. And then you're gonna say, oh, government, they don't do stuff like that. They don't blah blah blah, whatever. You guys don't know nothing. And if you do, then I think you already know. Let's see, we have a little quick video here for you guys.
Why did the FBI infiltrate the civil rights movement? You can turn back now, or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Here are the facts. In the United States and most other Western governments, it's legal for interested citizens to band together and create political organizations, so long as they don't violate the law of the land. Grassroots groups are legally able to take their opinions to the streets through rallies, protests, and more. While the government may not agree with the points these groups are arguing, they are allowed to speak their piece. Or are they? Here's where it gets crazy. Enter COINTELPRO, or the FBI's counterintelligence program. Between 1956 and 1971, the FBI conducted a series of operations designed to infiltrate, discredit, and ultimately destroy domestic political organizations. These weren't terrorists or criminals. The groups the FBI considered subversive included the Civil Rights Movement, the NAACP, and the National Lawyers Guild. Running surveillance is old news, and, candidly, it's necessary to keep tabs on groups that might spread violent revolution or plan to commit crimes. Hate groups like the Ku Klux Klan could legitimately pose a danger to the public, and the FBI did keep track of this organization, spending about 15% of their resources on these and other hate groups. The other 85%, however, went to stopping civil rights groups, including groups that protested the Vietnam War, agitated for women's rights, Puerto Rican independence, and more. The program came to light in 1971 when a group calling itself the Citizens Commission to Investigate the FBI broke into an FBI field office in Pennsylvania and stole documents related to COINTELPRO. It wasn't, however, the first example of government agencies using their powers for political repression, and, according to some activists, similar practices persist today. The world's intelligence agencies haven't limited themselves to the physical world either. According to both the New York Times and The Guardian, British and American spies have set up surveillance in MMORPGs like the World of Warcraft and Second Life, based on concerns that criminals might meet online to plan acts of terrorism or to negotiate money laundering schemes. This is only one example of modern-day surveillance. Supporters of infiltration programs argue that they are essential to national security, while opponents see these tactics as evidence of a growing police state. However, one thing's for sure, most of these operations only come to light via whistleblowers, hackers, and so on, rather than official sources. Whatever replaced COINTELPRO, it's something the government doesn't want you to know.
That was nice. Anyway, fuck these COINTELPRO people. What we got next here? MK Ultra. I don't know what that stands for, but I know for a fact that's a research and development, chemical, biological, and radiological material capable of employment in clandestine, which is in operation to control human behavior. Obviously, the CIA and the CSIS of Canada are in this shit, and our military complex in the United States too. They're definitely using whatever this research program. They're mind controlling everyone, especially targeted individuals. I see I have a nice video here. We see people being controlled, and you see what it does. And when you're on mind control with this MK Ultra, whatever weapon you're using, you get hot, and you get like in some kind of trance, and see for yourself. Just look.
Alongside Matt Lauer and Al Roker. Will someone do the junior high hug? It's like this. You gotta make it real awkward.
That's exactly how you have to have a certain amount of distance between the bodies in junior high.
Yes, like they say in Catholic school, leave room for the Holy Ghost. Anyway, there is a lot of memories today, actually. It's a big day in music history.
Before we move off this privacy thing, and I thought that was a fascinating answer.
Okay, you want to take off the hoodie?
No, I never take off the hoodie.
I know you don't. What's with that? There's a group of women in the audience that wish you would.
No.
Girls?
Whoa.
All right.
Sorry. Yeah, that's okay.
Can you explain what this instant personalization thing was that you did, and why you did it, and what's the value of it to your users?
Maybe I should take off the hoodie.
Take off the hoodie.
Go ahead.
You want to? Are you hot? Go ahead. Here. Let me get someone. You all right?
Yeah.
This is a great moment in internet history.
What?
All right.
What are we going to do with the mic?
Put it on your...
All right.
Put it on the collar of your t-shirt. Do you want some?
Do you need some help?
No, I'm good.
All right. Okay. Mark?
Sorry about the...
Sorry about being warm, Mark.
No, it's...
We're not even yelling at you.
Yeah.
Yet.
We're not going to yell at them.
No, of course not. That is a warm hoodie.
Yeah, no, it's a thick hoodie. It's a company hoodie. We print our mission on the inside.
What? Oh my God, the inside of the hoodie, everybody. Take a moment. What is it? Making the
world more open and connected.
Oh my God, it's like a secret cult. Look at that, making the world open and connected, stream, graph, platform, and this weird symbol in the middle that is probably for the Illuminati. Oh, 2010.
No, it's 2010.
Okay. Oh no. Girls?
Whoa.
All right.
Sorry. Yeah, that's okay. Oh my God, it's like a secret cult.
Yeah, it's a difficult title. It's a good day to die.
But I suppose it's because you had kind of a good day, and if you would have died, well, so be it. Is that it?
That's right. That's a good explanation. Have a sandwich, and let's go shopping. Die Hard.
That would have been your chosen title.
Well, it's about, it makes about as much sense. A good, or maybe there is a good day to die hard.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's right. That's a good explanation. Have a sandwich, and let's go shopping.
Roman is a crazy boy who lives in me, and he says the things that I don't want to say. He was born, just a few months ago. I think he was born out of rage. He was conceived in rage, so he bashes everyone. He threatens to beat people, and he's violent.
That must be nice to have like an ignorant loudmouth who you can just sort of blame every...
He wants to be blamed. I don't want to blame him. I ask him to leave, but he can't. he's here for a reason. People have brought him out. People conjured him up. Now he won't leave.
In covertly recorded off-air transmissions from the Bush-Clinton presidential election campaign in the 1990s, we can see that Bill Clinton was nothing more than a puppet to the puppet masters which placed him in the White House. Bill Clinton's demeanor seems to be similar to a person who is under a hypnotic trance.
Remember that every single man, woman, and child in the state of South Carolina awakens to a freer, safer world because of George Bush. I would remind people that every single morning we all awaken to a safer, freer world because of George Bush. And Nicole, I would remind you and the people of Florence that all of us awaken every single day to a freer, safer world because of George Bush. They themselves awaken every single day to a freer, safer world because of George Bush.
Yeah, I think it was enough creepy like that. You see, you know, people like if you don't believe me, I don't care. Go search, put it on Google or whatever. Write MK Ultra, write COINTELPRO, write anything I'm telling you. And after you look at it, now come comment and troll or whatever. Me, I'm just telling fact. I'm not even telling my opinion. And as a targeted individual, I experienced this. Like, you're sitting there speaking and trying to say something, and you cannot say it. You just cannot say it, and something else come out of your mouth, and you can feel the control, like just like Bruce Willis experienced earlier. Okay, GangStalking, by definition, is very likely a disinformation term created by U.S. intelligence agencies. It refers to the intense, long-term, unconstitutional surveillance and harassment of a person who has been designated as a target by someone associated with America's security industry. Yeah, sorry for my English, by the way, but we'll get through this. Such operations have nothing to do with criminal gangs. Official domestic counterintelligence operations of this type are apparently perpetrated by federal agents and intelligence security contractors, sometimes with support of state and local law enforcement personnel. Unofficial operations of this type are apparently perpetrated by private investigators and vigilantes, including former agents and cops, some of whom are members of the quasi-governmental Association of Law Enforcement Intelligence Units, LEIU, sometimes on behalf of corporate clients and others with connection to the public and private element of America's security industry. The goal of such operation, in the parlance of counterintelligence agents, is disruption of the life of an individual deemed to be an enemy or potential enemy of clients or members of the security state. Arguably, the most accurate term for this form of harassment will be counterintelligence stalking. Agents of Communist East Germany, Stasi, and state police refer to the process as Zersetzung. I don't know how to say that. German for decomposition or corrosion, a reference to the severe psychological, social, and financial effects upon the victim. American and British victims have described the process as no-touch torture, a phrase which also captures the nature of the crime: cowardly, unethical, and often illegal, but difficult to prove legally because it generates minimal forensic evidence. Tactics include, but are not limited to, slander, blacklisting, mobbing. This is intense organized harassment in the workplace. Also, black bag jobs, that's residential break-ins. Abusive phone call, computer hacking, framing, threats, blackmail, vandalism, street theater. This is staged physical and verbal interaction with minions of the people who orchestrate the stalking, harassment by noise, and other forms of bullying. Both facts and the geographical distribution of relevant published news reports suggest that such stalking is sanctioned and in some cases orchestrated by federal agencies. However, news reports, credible anecdotal information, and my own experiences indicate that such stalking is also sometimes used unofficially for personal and corporate vendettas by current and former corrupt employees of law enforcement and intelligence agencies, private investigators, and their clients. Since counterintelligence stalking goes far beyond surveillance into the realm of psychological terrorism, it is essentially a form of extrajudicial punishment. As such, the harassment is illegal. Even when done by government, it clearly violates, for example, the U.S. Constitution Fourth Amendment, which prohibits unwarranted searches, and the Sixth Amendment, which guarantees the right to a trial. Such operation also violates similar fundamental rights defined by the state constitution. Stalking is also specifically prohibited by the criminal code of every state in America. And same goes for Canada, for the Charter of Rights. Any country, you're not allowed to do that. Anyways, next, continue. Disruption. Yeah, this is their word. In the parlance of counterintelligence agents, is a strategy for neutralizing an individual or group believed to pose a potential threats to the clients or member of the security agency. For example, if there is no legal basis for arresting and prosecuting someone, an assassination is not a legal or practical option. An alternative is a long-term campaign of intense surveillance and harassment. The goal, at least ostensibly, is to limit the person's potential to create trouble. This is done by keeping him and on or her distracted, agitated, and preoccupied with various challenge and provocation, by undermining the individual social and professional relationship, and by otherwise interfering with the person's life in various ways. Disruption operation often involve tactics which are illegal but difficult to prove. These tactics include, but are not limited to, overt surveillance, stalking, slander, blacklisting, mobbing. This is intense organized harassment in workplace, black bag jobs, abusing phone calls, computer hacking, framing, threats, blackmail, vandalism, street theater, and harassment by noise, and other forms of bullying. The purpose of gang stalking, their goals: your death, they want you to die, label you as crazy or delusional disorder, to kill your credibility, and you end up in a mental institute. From there, you'll be easy to kill or whatever. Human experimentation, your lab rat, without consent. Suicide, they want the TI targeted individual to kill himself, and then the job is over, and they look like good people since nobody will sue or accuse them anymore. Anyway, they have no dirt on their end, really. Kill you, but slowly, by frequent poisoning, using direct energy weapon, who can induce you cancer or heart attack. Also by sending up an accident with the TI. You know what I mean? You're on a car and you just rush you out of the road kind of thing. Or also by sabotaging your vehicle, or high beam in TI's face. A car appearing out of nowhere at high speed, etc. So, electronic harassment. Electronic harassment or psychotropic torture or electromagnetic torture is government agents who make use of electromagnetic radiation, such as microwave, auditory effect, radar, and surveillance technique to transmit sounds and thoughts into people's heads, affect people's bodies, and harass people. Individuals who claim to experience this call themselves targeted individuals. Yeah, you know what that. And many have joined support in advocacy groups. So, well, we got a little video here. Let's look at that.
Thank you for coming. My name is Jesse Belton. I'm a retired Sacramento City firefighter paramedic. And basically what we're going to be doing today is what is called radio frequency scanning. So I'm going to go ahead and explain how it works. Okay, there's 3 phases to this. There's a preliminary scan, and what that is we check for radio frequency emissions utilizing what is called the JM20 Pro radio frequency detector. And if you come up positive on that, we'll use a frequency counter, which will give us the frequency that it is picking up or emitting up. Okay. So phase 2 requires this. If you come up positive on the scan, you're still going to need the medical imaging. So you're going to have to obtain an X-ray, an MRI, or a CT, depending on what. But most of the time, you probably only need an X-ray, which is very affordable. It's about between $60 and $80. Okay, and we can help you, guide you to where you need to go to get that done. Okay, but that's the part that needs to happen on phase 2. Phase 3 is we need to go in a controlled environment and do further testing, because so that when we go to court, we can say we're 100% absolutely positive that this person, this human being, is emitting an RF frequency. And the purpose here is to give you evidence. Okay, because if you want doctors, anyone in the medical field, the scientific community, or the law enforcement, or even those in politics, or those in positions of power, even pastors, for example, you really need evidence. Because if you go and tell them the story, it's just a story to them, okay? And they're going to think you're nuts. That's the bottom line. I hate saying that, but that's the truth. And that's what those who are doing this to us want to have. They want us all to be labeled crazy, so you lose all rights. Okay? No.
The following are the results of our tour when we started our radio frequency scanning across America in Sacramento, California. Here are some test results that came up positive of victims of domestic terrorism. This is Christopher, 5 years old. Positive in his left shoulder area. He also came up positive in his right scapula area. His father states this was done to him. in a dental office when he received a shot. Our next victim, who came up positive for domestic terrorism, is Bonnie Kellerby. Bonnie has been a victim for over a decade. She came up positive for RF transmission in her right TMJ. In addition, she came up positive near her left TMJ. She also tested positive for RF transmission on her left and right shoulder region. The following who came up positive is David Gonzalez. David came up positive in his right shoulder region. Our next victim is Richard Northern. Richard Northern has been a victim for over 20 years. Richard Northern came up positive for RF transmission near his left TMJ area. This is Barbara. Barbara flew in from out of the country to have an RF scan. Barbara has been tortured over the years in many ways, what most women call a silent rape. She came up positive in her lower lumbar, her lower back area. She can pinpoint with needlepoint accuracy where she believes an implant is, and you can see by our RF testing it comes up positive. Another area that Barbara complained with pinpoint accuracy was the back of her neck, and sure enough we came up with positive radio frequency emission in our preliminary scan.
In Europe, we started the testing tour in the German capital, Berlin, where I met up with the Swedish lawyer Dr. Henning Witte, who was going to interview the victims while I was doing the testing. The first person tested was Waldemar. He tested positive in both sides in the TMJ area.
Und jetzt ein bisschen weg davon. Ja. Noch tiefer. Von der Antenne weg.
Next up was Monica. Monica tested positive in her right TMJ area.
So, Antenne wieder hin. Und Antenne weg. Ja, 2 Antenne wieder hin. Sieht man das auf dem... Ja. Ist da was? Ja.
Here I'm testing Gisela. Gisela came up positive in the TMJ area on both sides.
Sieht man das?
Man hört es vor allem, jetzt sieht man es auch, ja. Ne? Das ist eindeutig.
She also came up positive in her lower back. I tested both Gisela's children and they both came up positive.
Dann wieder ans Gerät rantreten.
This is the testing of Sabine.
Was gefunden? Sliplinge.
Sabine came up positive in her right TMJ area.
Ans Gerät wieder rantreten. Wieder zurück.
Nee, veränder du mal deinen Arm überhaupt nicht, Lars. Geh mal jetzt wieder weg. Nichts verändern, Lars. Zurück.
Sabine also tested positive on her back at the left shoulder area.
Jetzt wieder weg. Wieder zurück. Noch näher ran. Ja, das ist doch ziemlich eindeutig. Wieder weg.
The following are victims of domestic terrorism who came up positive on radio frequency scans on our tour through Chicago, Illinois. Our first victim is Angela. Angela came up positive on her left temporal area. Our next victim is Sandrea. Sandrea came up positive in her right temporal region.
Positive RF on the right temporal region.
In addition, she came up positive on her right shoulder for emission of radio frequency.
Positive RF on the right shoulder.
Our next victim is Mike. His torture began at approximately age 19.
Alright, let me just zoom in on
He
it.
came up positive in his right temporal region.
Here we go. Okay.
Mike also came up positive in his left temporal area.
We ended our European testing tour in Hamburg in northern Germany. In Hamburg, this young man came up positive in his left TMJ area.
Ja, wieder rangehen. Ja, wieder weggehen. Wieder rangehen. Das ist schon eindeutig. Und dann bist du wieder weg davon. Ran. Ja, wieder Signal. Weg davon.
As we continued our testing across the United States, our next stop was Kenosha, Wisconsin. In Kenosha, Wisconsin, we had several people come up positive. Our first victim is Debbie. Debbie had complained of being a victim of domestic terrorism for many years. She suffered from... Debbie came up positive for radio frequency transmission in our preliminary testing near her right flank area. Our next victim is Lisa. Lisa, just as Debbie, has been complaining of being tortured for many years. Lisa came up positive near her left temporal region, just above her ear, and she came up positive near her right temporal area.
Yeah, you see these people? That's a lot of people. Yeah, they all have that in their body. Poor TIs. But now it's now proven today, in 2017, you no longer need RFID or chips in your body to be messed with. They have other ways to do it. I covered that in another videos. So what's next? What do we? Direct energy weapons. This is a direct energy weapon. DW emits highly focused energy, transferring that energy to a target to damage it. Potential application of this technology include anti-personal weapon systems, potential missile defense system, and the disabling of lightly armored vehicles such as car, drones, watercraft, and electronic devices such as mobile phone. You hear that? They use that against tanks, and these cowards, these motherfuckers, they aiming that at us. I mean, innocent citizen, targeted individual. This is sick. The Pentagon, DARPA, the Air Force Research Laboratory, and the Naval Research Laboratory are researching technologies like direct energy weapons, a railgun to counter maturing threats posed by fast missiles such as a ballistic missile, hypersonic cruise missile, and hypersonic glide vehicle. These systems of missile defense are expected to come online in the mid to late 2020s. Russia and China are also developing direct energy weapons. Sorry, I'm being fucked with right now. I believe they're zapping me because I'm doing this video, but who cares? Okay, let's watch this.
The Department of Justice Electromagnetic Weapons Program. The Department of Defense uses the Department of Justice to develop and test non-lethal weapons as an aspect of deniability because many of these applications violate existing treaties. By using the Department of Justice and classifying these programs as crowd control, they are able to avoid scrutiny and can violate the spirit of the law without technically being in violation of international treaties. In 1993, the National Institute of Justice Initiative on Less Than Lethal Weapons recommended that state and local police departments in America utilize psychotronic, electromagnetic, and other mind control weapons against American citizens involved in, quote, domestic disturbances, an open-ended term that could include family arguments. The report said, quote, short-term research will be completed to adopt military technology to use by domestic law enforcement, including laser, microwave, and electromagnetic weapons, unquote. The Washington Post reported, quote, the Pentagon and the DOJ have agreed to share state-of-the-art military technology with civilian law enforcement agencies, including exotic non-lethal weapons, unquote. This new approach to law enforcement was showcased in a 3-day secret conference on non-lethal weaponry at the Applied Physics Laboratory at Johns Hopkins University in Maryland. The conference head was Colonel John B. Alexander, Program Manager for Non-Lethal Psychotronic Defense, Los Alamos National Laboratory. Attending the meeting was Attorney General Janet Reno, military weapons specialists, and representatives from state and local police departments. Subjects included radio frequency weapons, high-powered microwave technology, acoustic technology, voice synthesis, and application of extreme frequency electromagnetic fields to non-lethal weapons.
Question about some of the technology that you're developing to fight the war on terror, specifically directed energy and high-powered microwave technology. When do you envision that you can weaponize that type of technology?
Goodness, it is in, for the most part, the kinds of things you're talking about are in very early stages. Do you have anything you'd add?
I don't think I would add much. I think they are in early stages and probably not ready for employment at this point.
But you sound like you're willing to experiment with it.
I think that's the point, and I think, and we have, I think, from the beginning of this conflict, I think General Franks has been very open to looking at new things if there are new things available, and has been willing to put them into the fight even before they've been fully wrung out. And I think that's not referring to these two particular cases of directed energy or high-powered microwave, but sure.
Just the head was burned, and the other parts of the bodies wasn't anything that happened on it.
Al-Ghazali reported that he had seen 3 passengers in a car, all dead, with their faces and teeth burnt, the body intact, and no sign of projectiles.
There wasn't any bullet. I saw the teeth, just the teeth, and no eyes. All of them, with the body, nothing for the bodies, just the teeth and all the heads were burned.
There were other inexplicable aspects. The terrain where the battle took place was dug up by the American military and replaced with other fresh earth. The bodies that were not hit by projectiles had shrunk to just slightly more than 1 meter in height.
Except that the bodies is killed by the bullets. Most of them that become very small. It's like that, something like that.
Talk with the colleague Dr. Saad Al-Faluchi, which is the chief surgeon in that hospital. Dr. El-Faluji said me that from the survivors that he operated, that they said they did not hear any noise. So there was no explosion to hear, no metal fragments or shrapnels or bullets in the bodies. So they themselves were thinking of some strange kinds of weapon which they did not know. No gunshot wounds.
No, I think, I don't know what it was really. We are here 10 surgeons. We couldn't decide what was the weapon which been hit this car.
But inside the bodies you did not discover ordinary bullets.
All of them we didn't find bullets.
Yeah.
We didn't find bullets. But most of the passenger people been dead. So they took them immediately to the refrigerator. We couldn't dissect and see. But those who are alive, we couldn't find any kind of shells. We didn't find shells inside their body. Outside, it seems to be a new opinion. It seems a new opinion. They try to do experiments on our civilian. We don't know what was. Nobody can identify what the type of this was. 26 in the past. About 20 of them. Some of them have no head. The head being cut. Some of them, the arms, the legs. The only one who didn't injure was the driver. And really, I don't know how he reached our hospital. Because one arm was in his lap. One head beside him. It was a very, very strange, horrible thing. In the roof of the car, there was part of the body, some intestine, brains, all parts of the body. It was a miserable, very, 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 very miserable. I told them before.
Do you have idea with what kind of weapons they attacked that bus?
This bus, we didn't know what kind of weapon would be hit. Really, what we saw, cut arms, cut legs, cut head, abdomen, open abdomen.
Okay. Street theater. I think that's my favorite. But I mean, I hate it, but in a way, it's the most hilarious part of all this stupid program. Street theater is premeditated harassment that take place in public settings, leaving dead, dying animal in target's path, saying names of you or family members, close friends aloud in public within earshot, uh, crowding store shops after you arrive, causing delays in checkout lanes, preoccupying employees with stupid question or requests, paying for items with copious amount of change, having cats, dogs, children suddenly run into a road as you drive by. Same time, entry, exit by neighbors showing up at the grocery store, pharmacy, gas, cafe, gas station, and drive-throughs, church, etc. I think this one everybody experienced that one. Insulting comments about body, hairstyle, appearance, social skill, intelligence level, often said out loud in front of group in public. Completely ignored by retail staff when you need help, then followed around by staff like a rash on your ass when you just want to shop in peace. Using artificial telepathy to block items target plans to buy at the store. You can go to the market at 2 a.m. and there be a perp blocking the item you want to buy. Using directed conversation to humiliate target in public. Whatever building the target is in it, if there is a security guard employed there, they will make an appearance, frequently jangling keys the whole time like they are a prison guard. Store employees coming out and busying themselves in front of the target to crowd them while target is shopping, frequently pushing loud carts, having heavy objects around. Blocking harassment at every turn by any means possible, physically blocking target's path everywhere they go. This is a major part of synchronized harassment. Hair harassment, loud, low, multiple flyover, everything from model planes to commercial flights. Stalking by coworkers and gym employees out in various public locations. Public nudity, sexuality, PDA. Scantily clad women, bikinis inside subway restaurant. Nudity, clothes falling off at the beach. Woman in suggestive poses. Men pretending to urinate on side of the street. Yeah, that one is true a lot. They do me that a lot. It's probably for distraction or whatever. Acting distracted, spaced out while talking to a target. Screwing up food orders with dining out, take out. Excessive talking, getting off topic, not allowing target to speak, ask questions. Any excuse to congregate in a group near or around target, but at the same time intentionally excluding target from the group activity or conversation. Loud screaming kids in any venue possible, including church. Walking multiple dogs at the same time. Kids are encouraged to act hyperactive and loud and engage in all the same harassment activities as the adult perps. Mimicking, mirroring. This is, they do like you. They just copy you. Whatever you do, you dress like the behavior you do. They're gonna, you're gonna send a purpose, gonna do the same as you. Color harassment. Do you know probably that, the same car vehicle, people all in red and stuff like that. Gesture harassment, noise harassment, forced coughing, directed conversation, first responder harassment. This is like paramedics, cops, firefighters, whatever, all these people. Obviously, they're perps. Vehicular harassment, stacking, and stalking harassment, workplace mobbing. Workplace mobbing, it's like workplace bullying. Yeah, when everybody at work kind of gang stalk you, basically. So some of this may seem comical, and people may wonder what's the harm. The harm is when it's done with frequency and duration to the target and their circle of support. It can cause severe amount of stress and even death when combined with other gang stalking tactics. There, there are feelings of utter futility in not even being able to articulate this type of harassment in a current way. Uh, This is compounded by the fact that no one in law enforcement or the legal system will help, and psychiatry will just label the target as delusional if they talk about it. Experiencing the types of harassment mentioned above on a daily basis for years can and will lead to post traumatic stress disorder, nervous breakdown, complete loss of trust in people, severe anxiety, depression, and suicidal or homicidal thoughts. Once the perp have accomplished complete dehumanization and destruction of the target is blamed for all of their own problems, and the perps walk away scot free. So we have a nice video here for us. In this video, actually, this woman, um, keep in mind that she's a journalist and she has a press license. And she's just trying to attend, activism, whatever these guys are on strike for. and you look at the theater there. You got cops involved in the theater, you got the activists involved in the theater, and you have some perp coming to basically gang stalk her in front of the cops, and the cops doing nothing. They actually, you see by yourself. Look at this. Okay, it's actually, it's not even funny.
Okay, do me a favor, drop that camera out of my face.
Well,
there you go, that's better.
hey, this is my right, and I do expect to be able to continue my job and get my video done
If you go
without
in-
being blocked and pushed and touched and grabbed.
Are you going to listen or you just want to talk? Okay, drop that camera out of my
Then
face.
I'll stand
Just
back.
back off with your camera, or put your camera down, but don't put it in my
it's hard to
face.
see.
And the reason I'm telling you not to put it in my face is because I'm working. And if you put that camera in my face, you're going to be interfering with me. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay, but this is my right to go over there and watch and interview just like everybody else.
Don't you understand what it is that you're doing?
Yeah, I'm videotaping.
Okay, and is there a reaction?
public-
Is there a reaction to what you're doing?
That's none of my business. Go see a psychologist. That's none of my business. This is my right as a citizen, and it's your job to protect my
Let me
rights.
ask you a question. When do you think we should take action? When someone assaults you, or do you think we should...
Yeah, how about when they grab my camera or when they block my view? I'm trying to conduct my job here. I've already sent all the civil and penal codes to Lieutenant Tenney, so she is well aware of these codes that they are breaking again. Okay? I just find it amusing that they're using these exact same codes to punish law-abiding American citizens. I have all of the evidence on video repeatedly, and people are still asking me to leave. This is my civil right. This is also a California civil right.
What is your civil right?
To be in a public... How am I creating a disturbance? By being here? My mere presence?
If you go into this crowd and you put that camera in someone's face, just like you did them... Now, I'm just going to ask you one more time to get that out of my face.
Sorry, I'm keeping it here. You keep getting closer, so obviously the camera's going to get closer to you.
Let me get my video unit here, because I'm going to ask you one more time on video, and then I'm going to take action.
You're on video. Sir, you're the one that keeps walking up to me. You can't tell me to get my camera out of your face when you put it there. Somebody's going to let me do my job.
Permitiendo que esta mujer nos esté aquí provocando. Y ustedes saben de dónde es esta mujer lleva los cañones y que tanto daño les hace a nuestros migrantes. Esta mujer es la que va y les corta la ropa, va y las que va y los provoca. Y la policía muy a gusto.
I have to stand and see what happens.
You get arrested.
Are you happy now? I'm on the sidewalk. Racist, go home. Racist, go home.
You're not allowed to bump somebody with your bicycle.
Racist, go home. Racist, go home. Racist, go home. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. She's bumped me a few times on video. Racist, go home. Racist, go home.
Oh, you're ruining my bike.
Look at this. Look at this. This is a code. This is ridiculous.
We're going to take you across the street where you get special tape. We're going to take you across the street. You can film all you want.
But easy, Rock. Across the street, you can film
This is a public sidewalk.
Put her on this corner. Okay, take her with you.
This is a public sidewalk. Why am I being pushed away? Explain to me why I am being pushed away. Why am I being pushed away? This is not okay. We've already talked about this. I sent you all the codes.
You're to stay on this side. I'm going to put a yellow tape up right there, and you stay on this side of the yellow tape. For your safety and for our safety. We cannot guarantee your safety if you're in that crowd. This is the only way we can guarantee your safety and their safety is by creating this barrier.
I'm the one that has to be pushed back when they're the ones that clearly cannot control themselves?
They're being pushed back too. They're being told they can't come over here.
So once again, I'm separated. And I can't hear anything. Again.
I'll put you in a position where you can hear and see, okay?
Really don't appreciate being physically grabbed and pushed away. I did not do anything. It's not okay. It is not okay because they can't control themselves. Woo! How exciting! Gee, thank you. I have my own little yellow line right here in the streets of San Diego. This is just amazing. Thank you.
We made them up because it's our
Okay, I gotta go. I need another spot.
Go.
Is somebody going to give me a spot?
Get out of here. No one wants you here.
This is the best. That's okay. Why is this so funny? Why is this so funny?
That's why it's funny.
I thought I am on this side so that this doesn't happen. Isn't that why I'm on this side?
Get out of here. You are not welcome on this
Okay. Didn't you put this here to keep this from happening? He just touched me?
Well, you stop pointing the
just
camera
touched
at
me. No, you need to touch me. Yes.
I don't have to
This
be
is
on
my
your camera,
property.
ma'am.
You
I
touched.
don't have to be
Why?
on your
Tell me
camera.
why you put this barrier here.
Anyone can hold their hand
I
right
need
here
you
if they
to
want.
explain to me why you put this. No, I want charges pressed right now. He hit my camera lens. Did you see that?
No. No.
Did you see it?
No.
Okay, citizens arrest this from happening. He just touched me?
Will you stop
He
pointing the
just
camera
touched
at me?
me. The report. You have to. Okay, what's your badge number? What's your badge number? Can I have your badge number? I want to place a citizen's arrest for that assault. Don't worry about it. Huh. How come all these people are allowed to do this? Okay, can I ask you a question? Didn't you put this here to keep this from happening?
Ma'am, I'm in the middle of an operation. I don't have time to spend all my time dealing with you.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
Okay.
We have a lot of people out on the street here. I can't spend all my time dealing
So
with
how come I'm allowed to get hit? Thank you. All right.
Let's get up in the street.
We put this barrier here for me, right? Okay, I want to know why all the people standing right there that hit my camera and did the exact same shit again, right in front of her and
No more
her and
dialogue
him,
with this person.
and they did nothing.
We can talk to you after the event. We're going to have no more dialogue with you at this event. Do you understand that? Thank you.
Okay.
That's Ball.
CJ Ball.
CJ Ball, thank you.
CJ Ball. Okay. They let the exact same thing happen. They hit my camera and they did nothing, and they won't even take a report again. They were just standing there the whole time. It's all on video. So I guess I'm just not going to be able to get in video, right? Get that. Why? Get it on your side. Seriously. How much provoking am I supposed to deal with? Is there
bags up over here?
Where now?
Right over here. On the other side of this. We're making a freeze, a DMZ.
That's just nuts. Okay. You want to know why they can consistently hit me and my property and nothing gets done? Can somebody please give me an answer?
I spoke to the officers. There was no crime that was committed.
Did you see it? Okay, citizen's arrest. Really? So hitting my camera is not a crime. Forcefully to break it is not a crime.
Is your camera broken?
The intent okay, to harass, which is my right to be here peacefully. It's not? A couple times.
No crimes committed today. See any crimes committed?
No crimes. Okay. That's too bad.
Yeah, yeah. You see what I mean? That was a great example of street theater. All right, what's next? Next, okay, remote neural monitoring. Remote neural monitoring is a defense system using satellite relayed electro-optics, think laser imaging and tracking systems, to measure, image, and transmit brain and nerve activity of an individual. Remotely machine learning algorithms correlate the communication and behavior data with brain activity data sampled from individuals who are targeted. Uh, it's kind of thing like V2K, Void to Skull, the Army used, DARPA, Sonic Projector, Medusa product, the Marine Corps, Hypersound, Holozoic Research Lab, The Voice of God, S-Quad, Silence Sound Spread Spectrum, electronic harassment, falsely diagnosed as schizophrenia or paranoia delusional disorder. Obviously, they use all these things to make you pass as crazy. I think the main one for remote neural monitoring will be the S-Quad. So make some research on S-Quad, and you'll be amazed how this technology is real and used. So we have a quick video here for you guys. Let's look at that.
When I think about an instance that really just struck me as, oh my God, we can do this. And that we can do it to anyone. And that we can do it to anyone was that people at NSA, analysts, can actually watch people's internet communications, watch them draft correspondence, and actually watch their thoughts form as they type. Watch their thoughts form as they type. As you write a message, you know, an analyst at the NSA or any other service out there that's using this kind of attack against people, any other service out there that's using this kind of attack against people can actually see you write sentences and then backspace over your mistakes and then change the words and then kind of pause and think about what you wanted to say, pause and think about what you wanted to say, and then change it, and then change it, change it. And it's this extraordinary intrusion, not just into your communications, your finished messages, but your actual drafting process, into the way you think, into the way you think, into the way you think.
They're in your head. We're talking about weapons of mass control. Joining us today to tell us about weapons of mass control is Dr. John Hall. He's an MD, an anesthesiologist from San Antonio. Because this has been an open secret for some time. It's something that's not talked about very much, although we do have articles here from the Washington Post. We've got articles from Wired Magazine. They've been talking about this here and then, and articles since the early 2000s. So you can find some articles going back earlier than that even. And we've got pretty much every branch of the military has got their own little projects, as well as commercial applications.
Oh yeah, mind control technology is one of the most common crimes, at least vocalized or complained about on the internet today. It seems to be getting the least amount of coverage in the major media.
Wow. Well, let me go down the list of some of these that I came up with. We've got DARPA has a sonic projector that was reported on in 2007. Of course, it had been around for quite some time before then. Army has something they call voice to skull. We've got the Air Force using microwaves to create sounds at Brooks Air Force Base. We've got the Marine Corps with their Medusa project. We've got the State Department, as reported by the Washington Post in 2005, working on voices implanted in people's heads. We've got a couple of companies, one that has patented something called hypersound. That's American Technologies. Has also got Holosonic Research Labs, also has a patented version. So the military-industrial complex has been all over this. When you see something this wide, this is not just one little research project from one organization. And this is something that 5, 10 years ago, it was being reported on in even mainstream press like the Washington Post, and yet nobody knows about this.
Well, the people who follow the internet pretty closely, and certainly the victims of this technology, know about it, but you're right. There's been a lot of research done into how to put voices into one's head. It was found long ago that if you can put a voice into someone's head, you can do several things. If I put a voice that's foreign to your normal thought pattern in your head, that becomes harassment. And the harassment over time will make you display signs of schizophrenia. When you go and tell people that you're hearing voices, we've been patterned to turnkey see that as schizophrenia and not even look to see if there's a legitimate source for it. If I put a voice in your head that's in your voice, and if you pattern a thought, like I tell some of these victims, when you read a book, you're actually hearing your own voice in your head as you read. If I put that voice in your head, then that becomes a thought, and you'll act on those thoughts, and that's how they think that some of this is being used for subliminal control.
Wow.
And that was used in the field of battle. The Voice of God weapon, which is actually called SQUAD, or Silent Sound Spread Spectrum, was used in the first Operation Desert Storm. That was one of those scenarios where 1,500 Iraqi soldiers disassembled their weapons, got to their knees, and surrendered to 150 Marines who didn't have enough slip ties to tie them all together because, and this was admitted, that they used SQUAD to put the voice of Allah in their heads to tell them to surrender.
Wow. Well, it's always like any technology. It can be used for good or it can be used for evil. I don't know if there's any good use for putting voices in people's heads, but certainly what this reveals is the dark side of people that are involved in this connection. Now, talk to us about how you distinguish between something that is artificially being beamed in, voices being beamed into you with this technology, versus somebody who really is schizophrenic.
I'm glad you asked that, because I especially being a medical doctor, I don't want to come across as everybody hearing voices as being victimized by technology. Certainly schizophrenia exists. For one, schizophrenia is not quite as common, I think, as the press has led people to believe. It's still, severe schizophrenia is still a relatively rare disorder. Most of the victims that I've worked with can pinpoint the day that they started hearing voices and the day that they noticed organized stalking, people following them around from their home to work. Most of the victims that we've had questionnaires filled on and talked to are in their late 30s to early 40s. Typically, schizophrenics are identified from 18 years old to 28 years old, maybe a little later in females, but almost always at a young age. Typically, those people are described as never having been quite normal. You don't see it in high-functioning, educated individuals who all of a sudden turned 40 years old and acutely became schizophrenic overnight. Also, if you talk to schizophrenics about what they're hearing, typically it's God or angels or deities or garbled voices like you hear in a subway. The people that are being victimized by this technology are hearing the voices of people that are obviously watching them. Oftentimes they'll know the names of these voices because it's a two-way communication system. So they're hearing the people doing the surveillance talk to each other as well as talk to them. Typically it's their whereabouts in a room is being described, what they're dressed like is being described.
So it's kind of a form of harassment then.
Well, and that's exactly what the loose term for it is, electronic harassment.
So they're not necessarily trying to pretend that they're God. They're just really trying to harass this person and push them over the edge.
Exactly.
Into doing something. Well, that's interesting. So to sum it up, somebody who has real schizophrenia, it's going to be something that is very early in their life, a consistent pattern behavior from very early in their life. Whereas somebody that is that is having this done to them, they're going to have a sudden onset of that.
Exactly.
So they've been perfectly normal, then somehow, and later in life, all of a sudden, like you said, a switch has been flipped.
Exactly, and we've done surveys on thousands of these victims, and most of them are educated. A lot of them are doctors and lawyers. Educated people that were high functioning, that were successful in their careers, and one day started hearing voices, started being stalked, and watched their lives spiral downhill after that. And the other thing,
I'm sorry.
Oh, sure. The other thing with schizophrenia is schizophrenia does respond to treatment. You can put schizophrenics on medication and they'll improve. People that are being victimized by this technology, you can put them on any array of the medications used for schizophrenia or delusional disorder, and they still hear the voices, they still get stalked, and they still get attacked.
Wow, wow, another.
When I think about an instance that really just struck me as, oh my God, we can do this, and that we can do it to anyone, was that people at NSA, analysts, can actually watch people's internet communications, watch them draft correspondence, and actually watch their thoughts form as they type. As you write a message, an analyst at the NSA or any other service out there that's using this kind of attack against people, can actually see you write sentences in the backspace over your mistakes and then change the words and then kind of pause and think about what you wanted to say, and think about what you wanted to say, and then change it, And it's this extraordinary intrusion, not just into your communications, your finished messages, but your actual drafting process, into the way you think.
I hope you at least believe Edward Snowden. Like, he was NSA, like one of the top analysts there. Whatever. It is true. I experienced it too myself. So what's next? Overt surveillance. That's stalking. Mobbing. I like this video because it's actually Garrett Chill Joe who show us here their tactics, how they move, how they behave around you. It's pretty nice. Look at that.
There's a road. Okay, there's your road. Your automobile. Your car. Okay. Now how it works is right here. Let's say you're heading due north, right? Okay, everything that they do is based on the compass and square masonry. What that's about is it's kind of a worship of geometry, a worship of mathematics. Everything they're going to do is going to be based on right angles or 45-degree angles. So they're going to come at you parallel or perpendicular, or they're going to come at you crisscross. With their automobiles, in a video game, if it's a massive multiplayer online game, such as Destiny or World of Warcraft or whatever they got out there, or if it's an automobile in the interstate or on any road anywhere in the nation, or if it's going to be even in a store, a grocery store, or a mall, they're going to come like this at you. They're going to come at you. You're going to walk at the end of an aisle, and someone's going to pass right by you. You're walking up an aisle, someone's going to come pass right beside you. You're walking up an aisle, someone's going to cross you like that. You're going to have to, it's going to impede your progress. You're going to have to stop or you're going to run into them. And or come this way like that, okay? And there'll always be somebody behind you too, okay? And they'll try to like flash mob you, and then you got guys, people all over you. And then you go to a particular aisle in the grocery store, and you'll notice that the one thing that you want, there's a group of 5 or 6 people right there in that one spot. And you just plow right through them and get what you want, and be polite. Plow right through them and be polite, say excuse me, and then please, and there you go, and authoritatively grab your stuff with a smile on your face and with confidence, and it terrifies them. I did this for quite a few years, and it scared the shit out of everybody, and people left me alone. Maybe also my purchases of assault rifles kind of helped that as well. Okay, now I'm going to explain the automobile. Okay, here you go. There's your automobile. Okay, let's say that you're driving somewhere. It can be a road, interstate, or highway, whatever. Let's say whatever road that you've noticed this happen to you. Okay, where you know, obviously, that you're being fucked with in some way. Okay, maybe someone was cyberbullying you, or maybe you're a high school student, you're having to endure bullying, and you got your first automobile, and you notice that you got the guy bullying you in school is also the same guy following you around town, right? And he's got friends. Okay, whatever the scenario, this is how they do it, okay? This is U.S. government stuff right here. They don't want me telling you this shit, but I don't give a fuck what they want. I'm going to tell you how the U.S. government does it. Okay, now the U.S. government does it, it's four entities. It's the Jesuits, the Zionists, the Freemasons, and the U.S. government. And they all work together. And then the one at the top are the Jesuits, below the Jesuits are the Zionists, below the Zionists are the Freemasons, which is / U.S. government. And then below that is your city council, your mayors, and your local law enforcement. Okay, so here we go. You're driving here. Okay, here in A, they got perpetrators going in these crisscross patterns, or these perpendicular right angle patterns, or 45-degree arm patterns, and they constantly doing blocks, constantly doing a block, and you got guys here like that. They try to box you in, and then they got someone in front of you that's going real slow, but if you try to pass, you're going to run into this guy here that's on your blind spot. That's a they use that tactic often. Okay, that's one of the common tactics. Okay, so what's this A about? Okay, well, there's a particular amount of perps here. Let's say they got 12 automobiles. Okay, and per automobile they got 2 to 4 people in it. Okay, they usually roll in twos and pairs. Okay, now those 12 automobiles, they're gonna pass the baton once you hit this area here, where you're going from point A to point B, or circle A to circle B. You're entering a different zone, okay? And as your car goes here into this other zone, zone B, these guys are going to do what we call passing the baton. They're going to exit. They're going to exit this way, take the exit. If it's an interstate, they're going to, if there's a way to go left, they're going to go left. And in some cases, they may just bust a complete U-turn and just go the other direction. They kill it. And then there's a passing the baton on to these guys. And it's another group of about 12 automobiles with 2 to 4 people per automobile. Okay? And it just strings on. Boom, 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 boom. That's why we call it a hive, like a beehive. And they're just a single cell of a larger organism. And that's the way that it goes, like that. And they're all intertwined. And so you're constantly in a quadrant, you're constantly in something, and you're constantly being watched, right? That's how they do that. So that you understand this is one of the methods, okay? And also keep in mind, so that you can know, by knowing this, you'll be able to manipulate it, okay? This is their game plan. Their game plan is to want to fuck with your head, okay? The crisscrossing patterns. And I know the naysayers are going to say, well, aren't you being a little bit paranoid? People walk in the grocery store, people will cut you off all the time. Yeah, it's fucking rude, okay? It's rude. It's rude to cut someone off. It is. I don't cut anyone off. Why is someone cutting me off? I mean, that shit doesn't happen to me, but I've seen it happen to other people. I watch this shit. I'm what you call a people watcher. I watch people. I observe people. I've done it all my life. A very critical thinker. And I can tell when someone's being fucked with. It's real easy for me to discern these things. I can tell. Anybody can tell. You're paying attention to what you're watching. It's easy. So I see a person, because I see a guy like this, you know. I saw a dude in the grocery stores at a fucking Walmart. He was walking, and like he couldn't walk no more than a few steps, and someone would come in front of him. There's a Mexican guy, and so here comes a white woman. He almost hit her, and they almost always have a kid with them, you know. So they get the sentimental vote, right? Because they got a child with them. But if you got a child with them, they don't give a fuck about that. Okay, the shit's rigged against you, man. But this is the method that they use right here. Is they use right angles. Right angles, and that there's someone always behind you and someone always in front of you. And the moment that you come to the end of something, there's going to be someone that's going to zoom right across you. If you're in a car, someone's going to zoom right across you, right in front of you. If you're going to fucking, or someone's going to turn right like that. You know, turn. Or from here, turn. Again, right angles, 90-degree angles. Turn, and then there'll be a convoy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fucking automobiles in a row just turning. That is flash mobbing. That's what that's called, flash mobbing. That's gang stalking. That's COINTELPRO. Okay, the crisscross patterns are the ones that are more designed to get you into a wreck. The crisscross patterns are the ones that are hoping that they catch you on the blind side, because the right angle patterns you can see a lot easier, but the ones that come in across, like you driving, and then they come across like that in the parking lot, they're not paying attention to the lines that they're supposed to follow by law. They just cross across the parking lot. That leads to a lot of wrecks. There's a lot of wrecks that happen because of that. And then they never get blamed for it. You do. Right? And so that's the crisscross patterns. They do that also in grocery stores or in strip malls or in restaurants or whatever. And it's just a way to annoy you so that they can try to steal your happiness. In the Bible, Yeshua, Jesus Christ, says that the evil ones come to steal, kill, and destroy. Right? And then he also said that the father of the Jews is the devil. Okay, so they're not God's chosen people. I don't know where people got that from, but that's a goddamn lie. God's chosen people are Jesus Christ's anointed. The Jews are children of Satan. Now, hey man, that's the way it is, because they were given all the promises by God, but those promises became null and void when Jesus showed up and they denied Jesus. So by denying Jesus, they denied the Father. They denied their own God. And in fact, they killed their own king. So this is the basics here. I'll go through a lot more advanced techniques of how they do what they do. But to start off knowing they're using crisscross patterns, and they're using, and notice it's always like a cross or form of a cross. An X is a form of a cross, right? And this right here, perpendiculars and parallels, form of a cross. Okay? And this right here, where they divide things into sections, and after so much time, you're going to pass from section A into section B, and they're going to pass the baton. Those automobiles aren't chasing you anymore, or not really chasing you, they're just behind you, you know. It's, you know, but a lot of times they tend to tailgate. And when I see people being tailgated, and then I see a convoy of people behind that person being tailgated, it's obvious that guy is being fucked with. And then I have my people who follow them around. I used to do it myself, and now I have others do it for me, and then I watch the videos. They're posted on YouTube. And then we examine these things. And so we got the inside word also, because a lot of the gang stalkers actually were double agents. They work for us. They work for me. And so they tell me how they do their shit. They tell me where the meetings are at. They go to the city council meetings. They get the audio. They record it, audio tape it, and then I hear the fucking audio tapes of this crazy shit that they do. And it is done through city council more often than not. The sheriff's deputies, as well as sometimes highway patrol, and almost always the local police officers. There you go. There's that. There's just the little basics there. Just wanted to give you a little. There's not even a 101 course. There's like a 099. This is kind of just a little prerequisite here so that you can understand just a little basics of their system, of how it goes, and I'm going to break it down way, way, way good as the days pass, video after video after video, to where you're going to know how to gang stalk better than the gang stalkers. Okay, man, take care. Go chill the Joe out.
Yeah, great video. Actually, I love this. I suggest you to watch it again if you didn't know their tactics. This is actually great if you want to catch them, or if you want to see, like, how can I say that? Shoot evidence, like, I mean, because you know the pattern already. So if you come at a corner, know a car is going to pull up. And if you're sensitized by a red car, let's say, then you can just film and say, look, I'm going to come at this corner. I bet $1,000 that the car's going to come out of nowhere. It's going to be red. You see, who knows that? The target individual. So, what's next? So, blacklisting. Blacklisting is the action of a group or authority compiling a blacklist or blacklist of people, countries, or other entities to be avoided or distrusted as not being acceptable to those making the list. The blacklist can list people to be discriminated against, refuse employment, or censured. As a verb, blacklist can mean to put an individual or an entity on such a list. But again, stalking, or for a targeted individual, basically the blacklisting, it's on another level. They would actually go to companies and show fake files, which is your file, and tell them you're some kind of a criminal, or you're a pedophile, or you're under investigation. And at the end of the day, the companies, when they have to report to the federal government anyways, to hire anybody. So if the paper comes from the federal government saying don't hire this guy, it's pretty fast. It's pretty convincing blacklist. Anyways, we have a quick video here of some HR development specialists, and just want somebody else to tell you what's blacklisting instead of me. You know what I mean? Listen to that.
Hello, I'm Nathaniel Lake Jr. with the firm of Brannon LLC. We are a human resources and organizational development firm. Today we're going to talk about what is blacklisting for the former employee. Blacklisting is preventing any person seeking employment from obtaining employment. It is also causing the discharge of an employee by threats, promises, circulation of blacklists, or causing blacklists to be circulated. Now, blacklisting itself is something that should not be occurring. If an employer is blacklisting a former employee, this could really be problematic for them. It has been proven and shown that former employees have filed suit and have been successful in gaining compensation from their former employer for things that they have said that may not have been true. But from the employee's perspective, the employee needs to assess what's going on. Are they not being able to get interviews with prospective employers? The employee needs to go to their former employer, probably talking to the HR department and finding out what's in the personnel file. Is there something there that they may not be aware of? The employee also has to assess their own skills and abilities. What kind of employee were they at the former place of employment? Did they get great performance reviews? Were they a mediocre employee? Were they a fantastic star employee? These are things that they should consider. Employees also have to do a self-assessment in terms of their own personal mission statement. What is it that they're trying to achieve? They need to take control of their life. Now, for the employer, again, this is something that they should not be doing because it can be very costly to their pocketbooks and also to the company overall. This is Nathaniel Lake Jr. from Brandon LLC, and we just spoke about what is blacklisting for former employees.
All right. Thank you. What's next? Mobbing and workplace mobbing. Yeah, this is emotional abuse in the workplace, ganging up by coworkers, subordinates, or superiors to force someone out of their workplace through rumors, innuendo, intimidation, humiliation, discrediting, and isolation. Malicious, non-sexual, non-racial, general harassment. Basically, no reason. You know what I mean? They have no logical or official reason to mob you like that. Obviously, if you target an individual, this is your reason. Why? If you don't know why you have workplace mobbing, it's because you're a target individual. It's not because the company don't like you. It's because you were already a TI. Or maybe as soon as your targeting started, if you have a job there, then obviously you're going to start the workplace mobbing start all of a sudden. But if you're a TI, whatever job you're going to get, you will get this. The individual targeted individual are in management positions, and their attacks often originate with a peer or subordinate, but is often allowed to continue by upper management. This sandwich effect can create a great deal of emotional injury for the target, which can lead to health problems and possibly the loss of their main source of income. Obviously, they don't want you to have money. But mobbing in the workplace is not reserved for individuals. In supervisory position, nearly anyone within an organization can be unfairly targeted. So, I think on this video here, it's in the news, and they have like some kind of specialist there trying to tell us what is workplace mobbing. Obviously, I can make a whole presentation on that. Okay, but I'll do that in the future. So let's see what they got for us here.
Okay, well, bullying is not just limited to school playgrounds. In fact, the rates of workplace bullying, also known as mobbing, have increased dramatically over the past few years.
The introduction of office rules, policies and procedures have had little effect, and they can sometimes make the situation worse. To explain is clinical psychologist Dr. Sophie Henshaw. She's a bit of an expert on the issue, and she joins us now from Perth. Sophie, tell us a little bit about workplace mobbing, exactly what it is and why does it happen?
Yeah, well look, workplace mobbing is where it's like bullying on steroids. It's basically where one person may start an event of bullying towards a target and then other people join in. That person might be very good at getting other people to collude with them, and it's basically psychological terrorism. The person gets picked on for no obvious reason that they can understand. There's a lot of excess criticism about their work, nitpicking, innuendo, gossip behind their backs, and before you know it, that person is left completely isolated in the workplace, ostracised, humiliated and rejected, and they often lose their job.
Dr. Henshaw, in regards to this inquiry, it found surrounding this topic that calls to unions about workplace bullying had increased by 70% in just 3 years. Why have we seen that dramatic increase?
Well, I think there's a lot of factors that cause this to happen. One is where companies or large organisations are facing an economic downturn and there's not as much demand for their products or services as before, and it creates a mentality that's very much driven by the dollar. So the accountability is towards the shareholders or directors rather than towards the customers or the staff or the broader community. So it's just kind of like a lack of caring, and in that environment bullying is allowed to escalate, it's ignored, and sometimes we see that it's even encouraged. So wherever you've got downturns in certain industries and wherever you've got industries that are very heavily bureaucratized, government industries, we see a lot of government departments that have big problems with bullying. It's kind of like where there are a lot of policies and procedures that look like they're out to protect employees, but actually it promises a lot and delivers very little. So people are left feeling that their workplaces are unsafe and they don't really have the support from management to investigate these claims, and they're often just put down to personality conflicts or sort of dismissed and put aside, and nobody really knows how to deal with it.
That is such an excellent point that you make, Doctor, in regards to this. All these policies, HR is allegedly there to protect you, but the bottom line is often these bullies are allowed to get away with totally unacceptable behaviour. So if you are being bullied and HR is not there to protect you and these policies don't protect you...
In the end, we get it all.
God damn it! Trying to make it real compared to what suck it to me.
In Vegas, everybody's got to watch everybody else. Since the players are looking to beat the casino, the dealers are watching the players. The boxmen are watching the dealers. The floormen are watching the boxmen. The pit bosses are watching the floormen. The shift bosses are watching the pit bosses. The casino manager is watching the shift bosses. I'm watching the casino manager, and the eye in the sky is watching us all.
You see that last video of with Robert De Niro in Casino? I put that for the mobbing part. I noticed when you're being mobbed, there's always somebody looking. But the thing is, one of their tactics is a little bit like that. While somebody's looking at you, somebody else is looking at the person who's looking at you, and somebody else is looking at the person. You know what I mean? So everybody's looking at each other, and definitely there is the handler who's looking at the whole thing. You know what I mean? That's why I put that video there. Okay, so workplace mobbing tactics. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. If you're TI, you probably lived it, or if you're just a good person, it's probably the opposite of what you are. Basically, what they do is gossip, baseless accusation, humiliation, intimidation, condescending behavior, public discrediting, creating an hostile environment, isolation, ridicule, malicious, relentless, emotional abuse, lies, etc. There's so many. But the thing is, those things have impact. The impact of the mobbing on health. You're talking about anxiety, heart disease, depression, digestive challenges, memory impairment, inability to concentrate, insomnia, and weight gain, major depression, headache, adjustment disorder, irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, post-traumatic stress disorder, that's for sure, and mental trauma. You see, it is really bad. Like, that's all I can say. Yeah, I lived it a lot, I live it, I mean, a lot at work, and It is true. You have to stay strong. You see, workplace mobbing can be even worse than the gang stalking itself because you're at work and this is your income and you're in an isolate situation. You can't leave. You have to stay there and work. So it might be even worse because at least at home you can move around and stuff. You know what I mean? Whatever. So, what we got next? Black bag jobs, illegal entries. These are covert or clandestine entries into structures to obtain information for human intelligence operations. This usually entails breaking and entering into denied areas. Some of the techniques, and procedures associated with black bag operation are lockpicking, safe cracking, key impression, fingerprinting, photography, electronic surveillance, including audio and video surveillance, mail manipulation, flaps and seals, forgery, and a host of another related skills. The term black bag refers to the little black bag in which bulgars carry their tools. The CIA remains responsible for conducting these highly classified operations overseas, while the Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI) performed the exact same function inside US and its territories. Yeah. Rest be assured that in Canada the same thing's going on. I'm sure the CSIS, RCMP, military complex, all of the cops, they don't mind going into your stuff. I saw videos of them going to your stuff. They will and they do. In this video, we have a how can I say that? Yeah, these guys, these criminals, are just going into people places. But what's nice is we see how they operate. You know what I mean? So let's look at that.
I recall it was about 3 a.m. we went in. We had a fellow that was an expert with a key. But what he could do is make a key in probably about a minute. In addition to placing the microphone there, we had to go down below the building and do some wire work there. And when we went down there, I remember the switch had overflowed and we had to walk through that in making the connection.
That cruise, stay still, keep your heads down, there's two guys walking by real slow. The lights just came on in the apartment upstairs. Somebody's coming out the front door, right next to your front door.
And so we stopped, and we were actually alerted too by the police department. And as it turns out, it was Willie Calmisano Jr. He had been visiting apparently with a girlfriend of his, and he was getting ready to go home. Always when he made an entry in Kansas City, Missouri, we cooperated with the Kansas City Police Department, and we had at least one Kansas City, Missouri police officer who agreed to be there in a marked police car nearby. And he was a trusted officer who we knew would not disclose what he was doing.
So you heard what I heard. They can lockpick any locks. So I don't know how to say this, but they will get in. Stop trying to block them. They will get in. So, okay, what we got next? Computer and phone hacking. You see, they get in your head, they get in your house, they will get on your phone too. When you buy a phone or computer at any store, especially Best Buy, these things are not really new. The store works with the government, and it does what the government tells it to do. When you buy your item, it is already hacked. They no longer wait for you to get your phone or computer home and then try to get into hack it. They hack the phone while it is still in the store. Then they put it in a section where it's readily available for the salespeople to get to without arising suspicion. Best Buy reserve a special section for targets. So in this video, we see this guy, which is a TI, and he shows his phone, and you can see how he's getting hacked. Obviously, in the video, there's a guy. It's not me who made this video, and it's basically the one with the phone made the video, and somebody's showing the video, and I'm showing the video. So you're gonna hear somebody comment, but it's not me.
Somewhere in my videos is a video where I show you how they unreasonably change the, they show the option. The autocorrect, they use the autocorrect to send me messages, and it's unreasonable. I'll type W, and I'll bring up a word that doesn't start with a W, and it's very specific to what is going on in my life. Now, here is 100% proof of how these people are sabotaging me because they're cowards. See that?
See this? It's changing. See that? It's changing without me pressing anything. This happens a lot. You know, they're messing with my, see that? See that? See that? I'm not pressing anything. There's no wires, there's no other keyboard or anything. There's nothing connected to it, no auxiliary controlling device. See that? Switching around. And this is not a bug in the thing, because it's very deliberate. There's nothing being pressed. You know, it's just automatically jumping to that. You know, that is the result of hacking.
Hijacking.
And it's usually, you know, doing something that has some relevance in my life. You know, like right now. You see this? It's switching on its own.
In my room, I don't have that much service, so they can't really do it to me right now. I was outside.
It typed in WS, like what? You know, and type anything. You know? And now it went to kick.
WS kick.
You know, this is obviously...
Set password. Like what, right? You see how deliberate that is? It's not a bug, this is hijacking, and couple it with the rest of the things, they're harassing me. They're covertly
I got these bitches on record.
I got these bitches on record.
And I've shown you how in the past where I've typed in words that were completely unrelated, and they've put in words, you know, that have relevance to what I'm doing.
They've been doing this for years.
You know, this is the government hacking my phone.
Exactly.
You know, groups affiliated with the government, psychological operations unit, the military.
Punk-ass motherfuckers.
They're doing it to basically harass me.
Caught you pushers, trying to provoke me subtly and shit. Trying to make me seem like I'm crazy. I caught you in the interviews, and now I caught you hijacking the fucking phone. You little sissy-ass queers. Punk-ass motherfuckers. What? Anyway, moving on.
So here I am trying to copy this for
you're trying to
someone
send
who claims to be a TI.
Prove feminism. Feminists admit they break down the cycle.
Now the type it in. Z. Where did that come from? You know, Zika virus. So what the hell?
I'm outside. Remember, there's bugs outside.
That's like some kind of threat or something. Like we're going to give you a virus.
And there's bugs that will bother me.
Back to Facebook.
You know, there's mosquitoes and stuff flying around. I'm outside in the country.
What's up with that, right? It's like they don't want me to send this article.
Subtly threatening.
And I know, you know, I know bugs, I know glitches. Developing software, I've seen how they act. This is absolutely deliberate. The odds of this being a bug, you know, are less likely than being struck by lightning 5 times in the same day. You know, I'm telling you right now from experience, you know.
Now let's go on to what do I read? Oh, I think that's okay. I have 2 more.
Here it goes again, trying to copy this same article.
Has nothing to do with that website.
See how they're clicking things? They're moving up and down.
Website, viruses and things don't do this.
They're making it clear
they
to
don't
me.
hijack your phone. This is your phone, my phone being hijacked by an outside source.
Probably gay.
And absolutely, it's deliberate.
Gays
And people don't take the
disproportionately
time to do this, unless they have a problem with you, they have an issue with you. This is how they harass people who they have an issue with. And it's usually political, the odds of somebody doing this deliberately to me for years and years because of some comment I left on YouTube or something is, it's very extremely unlikely. And then when you couple that with the interviews I have, I've proven it definitively that the government is harassing me. They're trying to provoke me to violence because they're a bunch of yuppies who don't know how to get, put in work.
Yuppies.
They always provoke the type of people who are going to put in work, Myron May, Aaron Alexis, they provoke real niggas to violence. People who they've done, psychologically profiled. They know I'm the type of person to stab some fucking pig in the throat and throw him off a cliff. They know I'm the type of person to shoot up fucking a bunch of politicians I don't like. Shit like that. So they're trying to provoke me towards senseless violence.
I'll make this clear.
In order to...
I'm not threatening anyone. I'm saying they know that I'm a real nigga, to make a long story short. And I made examples in a way that would piss them off on purpose because they know that I'm much superior to them.
Neutralize me because they're afraid of my martial arts excellence, my powerful, superior mind.
Physically.
And just like I've proved with the...
All right, we'll go here. Last one. We'll wrap this up. Make a short video so everyone can share it.
So you see,
watch it through.
These are the kind of cowards. You see that? Here we go again.
Switch to YouTube. Right?
And it's consistent. They're typing things in. See that?
Yeah.
They're typing things in. I mean, what are the odds that this is a glitch that has to do with randomly switching sites and typing things in?
I'm the one, of all the TIs you'll ever see, I'm the one who definitively have proven this going on. My interviews are the most effective interviews out there. I have, and this right here, with my mom in the room and everything, I'm gonna publish this, and then later I'm gonna put it all to get more, make another evidence, compilation.
When you truly know how bugs work, that's not how they work. That's the phone being hijacked. Anybody with any basic expertise can tell you. In fact, people who don't even have degrees will tell you that makes no sense. Just with their experience with phones and other devices, computers, laptops, their Kindles, what have you.
Especially where it takes a break and then it goes back.
I mean, it's absolutely in your face. And these people are so dumb that they don't care that I prove it to you. I mean, they're such cocky oppressors, but they don't care that I've proven this beyond any doubt.
Because I was talking
they don't care that I have people on record saying this. They got their panic.
Feminists I was talking to, I was definitively proven using Linda Gordon or whatever her name is, Gloria Steinem, and other quotes proving it definitively. Then I went for that Labor MP quote, and they just refused to let me send because it's a feminist admitting, and she's a feminist figure, a powerful Labor MP, powerful feminist figure, saying that yes, we're the reason the family is broken down. We used to say things like a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. And, they do not want me to alienate the Christian feminists from the rest of the movement when they realize that they're being led by a bunch of Satanists, occultists, and other godless heathen scum.
In a bunch because I'm the top martial artist and there's some yuppie fucking sissy.
Pussies.
But they don't care that I've proven it.
Punk motherfuckers.
They care that I'm making them
Mecca
look
did
bad.
that, punk.
They care that I'm
Mecca did
their
that, pussies.
quote-unquote reverend
Mecca
power
did
and
that,
expert power
motherfucker.
into question.
Mecca did that, nigga. What the fuck you gonna do about it? The fuck you gonna do, pussies? I'm the top martial artist. You're a bitch. The fuck you gonna do about it, homie?
Standing on my own 10 toes.
That's not a motherfucking thing. You're gonna keep doing bitch shit like a bitch. And real niggas gonna keep doing real shit.
Hide behind their badge, punk. And they hide behind their friends that have a badge.
Pussies.
I mean, it's cowardly.
Fuck you gonna do,
and
punk?
Unfortunately, these are the people who set the trends and set the tone for culture. I mean, these are a bunch of quote-unquote politically correct cowards who define what you can and can't do. They're the reason why gay marriage has passed. They're the reason why fucking Martin Luther King was killed, Malcolm X were killed. A bunch of Freemasons, a bunch of left-right bitches. No one's more concerned with politics than political parties and political activist groups. Nobody is. So whenever something political happens, rest assured that both the left and the right had something to do with it.
rest assured that, everything is controlled in this country. You're free to do what they want you to do, to pick an option of the things that they want you to do. Other than that, they go out the way to give you a
because I just, I could explore that in the comments. I want to keep this shorter than that. I didn't want to make it 9 minutes, but here, we'll leave it here. Thank you.
Yeah, as you notice, no big deal for them hacking a phone. It's pretty easy, I think, for them. Okay, so what we have next? Framing. Framing. Tactics like digging in your trash, snooping your emails, looking up private and public information in an attempt to create a precedence to frame you into informing others, or better yet, confess to something you haven't done just to keep them quiet. And framing for me, it's always like setups, like they're gonna lure you into an area or street theater, all to set you up. Understand another thing, I talk about it in some of my videos. Let's say you're watching something on your computer, they can, they're gonna, they can, how can I say that? Cast, uh, like we have a webcam, you know what I mean? So the webcam is looking at you, and then they show your screen of your computer showing something else than what you're looking. So they can put some child porn or whatever they want to put in, and then they're gonna make a montage and go show that to people. See and be like, hey, see what he's doing, see what he's watching, or even if you're watching porn, they can change your screen and put something else. You don't know that, but that's things they do. And then they show from another camera, not even your webcam. Maybe they're watching you anyways, so they show you, and then they act like you're watching this or that and anything else. Like, you know what I mean? You're filming, let's say you're trying to get some evidence, and then there's a kid passing. They're gonna go around and say, "Yeah, look, he's taking pictures of kids." Blah 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 blah, stuff like that. They love doing that. That's probably, I believe, a big step in how they convince people. And if they, at the end of the day, they're able to set you up, then you know where you're gonna end up. You end up in trouble, and the more you're in trouble, the easier the targeting is. The video I have here, it's not an example of framing, but it's just some perps admitting that they're framing people. So just watch that. Look at that.
You're stalking me again from the other street. Hello, how are you?
Oh, fine,
Did you frame anybody else or just me today? Just me, huh?
Yeah, from Brazil.
Yeah, you're gonna see that on the internet as an admission. Good luck. Just me.
So you see, these guys, they don't care. They're not ashamed. They just told it. Yeah, just you. Whatever. So what we got next? Threats. Oh yeah, they love to do that. You get subliminal threats and direct threats. Direct threats, you know what's that? When they actually come to you with like verbal threats, they will actually say something like, "I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna beat you," or whatever. Or you're driving and this car just gets so close, trying to rush you out of the road. That's direct. And subliminal, it's different. It's a message that it's not obvious, but a TI know, a target individual would know. You know what I mean? And in this video, it is a good example of subliminal threats. So let's have a look.
Here's some suggestions, some subliminal suggestions about what's on the way. Just the amount of times I encounter disabled people as I go about the town. Thank you for watching. Just a moment. Again. Right. This guy here, all red again. See that? Red. Again, right. I showed you the footage of the other guy as well. This is undeniable. Industrial estate out to Tory. And alright boys, how's it going? See that? There we go. Another subliminal threat.
So yeah, obviously, you know, in this you saw in the video, they're really trying to make it look like they're gonna cut his leg, or he's gonna lose a leg, or gonna end up being with an handicap. You know what I mean? So they do stuff like that, and there's so many examples we can come up with. I mean, so what's next here? Abusive phone calls. Yes, abusive phone calls. There's all kinds. You can get a lot of phone calls, like somebody's calling you private call, no number all day, or can even be a perp. Maybe it's your friend. As soon as you're gonna start doing something, he's gonna call you, or you know, even text messages. That's part of abusive phone call. Or you just get a phone call of some agency or government, and they're just being mean with you. Um, I have a video here. It's a video, but I mean, it's a phone conversation, as you can read there. And you receive a message from an agent from the CSIS. This would be like the same thing as the CIA for you guys in the States, or even FBI a little bit, but it's more like CIA. Oh, so let's have a look at that.
Okay.
To have coffee with you.
For what end?
For what end? There's a couple of things I would like to talk to you.
Does it concern me?
Yes, in a sense.
Okay. I'm not really interested in talking to CSIS.
Why not?
Don't trust you. And I'm not a rat.
Has nothing to do with that.
Well, yeah, it does, because you want me to give you information, I'm sure.
Well, there's okay. Let me. I'll tell you what I want to talk about.
Okay.
I would like to talk about your trip in Greece.
Okay.
You have any problem with that?
Yeah, I do.
Why not?
What's the problem with my trip in Greece?
I want to talk to you about it.
But what's the problem with it? Why you didn't like what I had to say about the truth? What's going on over here?
Maybe not so about what's going on here, but what's going on over there.
I'm not interested in getting involved.
No?
No, thank you very much.
Wait. One more thing I'd like to talk about to you is how do you reconcile your native roots with your anarchist activities?
That's my business.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
How can you reconcile both? I would like to have your explanation on that.
Well, that's for me to know, and I guess for you to look at and read and keep investigating what you already are investigating.
I'm investigating you, sir.
I doubt that.
Yeah, and my last question to you is, why do you claim all the time you were behind the barricades in 1990, where the people involved back in 1990 say that you weren't involved at all? Why do you keep making that claim?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not getting into this conversation, okay? Because I know what I did and people who are around me know what I did.
But you were not, sir.
No, you can diffuse that information all you want. I know what I know and my people know what I know.
Addressing the question with you, I'm trying to understand why you keep saying this when both knows it's not true.
Okay, how is it not true?
Well, because we've talked to people who've been involved and they told us it's not true.
I was not in the treatment center. I never said I was either.
Behind the barricades.
Okay, that's nice.
That's your claim of fame.
Well, yeah, it is, because that's what it is. Because I was there, so I mean,
you were there.
You can say what you want. I know, and everybody else knows, and I'm not getting into that conversation.
Yes, you arrived, but
okay,
you left just before they arrived.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's true, eh?
No, it's not.
You know that I'm telling you the truth. Admit it.
Well, I'm not admitting nothing because I know what I did and what I didn't do.
Yeah, well, you say...
Okay, and you can try to besmirch me like that.
No, I'm not
You can try to badjacket me in public like that.
I'm not.
You can do whatever you want.
I'm not doing it in public. I'm doing it in private with you over the phone.
Well, this conversation is going public, just to let you know that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Problem.
Bye.
So yeah, I wish they would call me like that. I would actually go tell them to go fuck themselves. They think they are. They can just call people. They will never call me. I know that because I'm a TI, and I know I'm a TI. So they would never call me. They know they wouldn't call me because if they call me, I would tell them. Why you targeting me? You're the only one allowed to do that kind of secret stuff. Anyways, so poor little buddy there. Probably obviously harassing him with those stupid phone calls. So so what we got next? Oh, so here we have a gang stalker actually snitching. Is that the right word? Or, I don't know, telling a whistleblower. Yeah, let's say it like that. Because I believe a snitch is when you know, that's a snitch. He's telling criminal. He's telling what criminals are doing. And he was part of it. So it's a snitch. But it's a whistleblower. Was part of this gang stalking. He got recruited. And he decided to tell us what's going on there. So you probably already seen it. And if you didn't seen it, but you see, that's kind of another proof that this thing is going on. So let's have a little listening of this.
You didn't know you were being recorded, huh?
I didn't even know, man. If I know I was gonna be recorded, hey, that's my life.
Fool said if I knew I was gonna be recorded,
I would never have even thought that you were recording.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up though, man.
Yeah, I mean it's basically like highway patrol, except it's street. They're just on the streets and they don't have cars. That's the only difference. And they don't have to have a license. You don't, and as long as you don't have any felonies or anything like that, you can work for him.
No, those gang stalkers with felonies, aren't they?
I don't think so. I never heard of any. I mean, there's probably some with that used to be on parole that just got their record expunged.
How long did it take for you to be in the program before they asked you if you wanted to be a part of it?
6 months.
You have to be 6 months in the program?
Yeah, because they want you to be in your right mind, I guess. They don't want you to be drinking or doing drugs on the job or anything like that.
Well, I see a lot of gang stalkers on drugs. Most of my gang stalkers are
most of them don't even, their bosses don't even know they're on drugs. They keep it low key. And they don't drug test you.
So you're positively sure that it's the city of San Jose that pays you?
Yeah. It's like a new thing, so it might become the whole city of Santa Clara soon, but right now it's just San Jose.
The whole city? Shit, that's fucking mind control like a motherfucker.
Imagine if it was the whole county. You wouldn't even be able to go to Gilroy, let's say, without being harassed by one of them.
You know a lot of them?
Just a couple.
Fuck, man.
Most of them already have their own place right now, like Section A or Housing 1000.
They give a lot of them housing, huh?
Yeah. And they give you, they pay you in, most of them get paid in gift cards for, the first month.
So you fuck with people for gift cards. So these people fuck with people for gift cards.
And they're not just $10 gift cards. They're $100 gift cards from Target, Ross, Safeway.
That's why.
That way you can get clothes and eat. You know?
That's why I love.
Everybody wants to be on that shit, not just because they can fuck with people, but just because they can go shopping and eat whatever they want at wherever they want.
That's great. But you guys know when you do that shit. you're putting your life on the line.
Yeah, I see. You get a lot of death threats from that. I know that much.
I know. I see a lot of fucking people, bro. They got their kids involved in this shit.
What?
Like they be walking up and down the street fucking with people with their kids in the stroller or with their little dogs and shit. These are like the rich people though in this area, like the neighborhood watch people and shit. Those are probably like the handlers. Those are the people that trickle the money down to you guys, probably.
Well, those are the main ones that really give extra money to the tax holders so that those kind of people can be employed.
Damn, man.
It's basically like you're being employed by the mayor, hypothetically.
What is it for? Like just to run all the people out, or what?
No, just to keep the peace.
Keep the peace? How are you keeping peace when you're going around fucking with people, making them think that they're crazy, man? How is that keeping the peace?
I don't know. Don't ask me, I'm not on it. I just know about it because I went to go check it out.
So mainly all the homeless people are up under that shit.
But see, they don't fuck with them that as much as the San Jose City police do.
No, but because, well, the police are in the background.
Well,
they
yeah,
have to
but think about it like this. Police will fuck with you for anything.
Yeah, but
that's why they're under investigation. That's why the sheriffs are doing the main, that's why the sheriffs are doing the main crime sprees and everything, and they got undercovers now. Because before they had that, especially black people, you know.
But this gang stalker shit isn't a race thing. It's you guys are fucking with everyone. They're fucking with everybody.
I mean, I don't know. Honestly,
you don't want to get in trouble, I understand. But I'm just saying, like, damn, man, that's fucked up, bro. A lot of people dying out here behind that shit, like killing themselves. You know about that, right? Like the dude that jumped off the top of the Night Rider building, that motel, hotel, the Night Rider.
I thought it was a tree.
No, he jumped off it's 3 people. Somebody jumped off a tree. Somebody jumped off that high-rise building, and then somebody jumped off the parking garage.
What the fuck?
Behind this shit, man.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew somebody.
Of course, they're not gonna let
somebody jump off a tree, but I thought that was just plain suicide. Anyway, but yeah, man, I mean, that's one reason why I don't want to be on it, man.
They don't tell you that. They just tell you how to fuck with people and try and keep the peace.
Yeah, they don't tell you the whole story because then they know you're not gonna work for them because you got the risk of being ready.
Once you get on it, if you get on it, can you get back off?
Yeah, I mean it's not like the mafia, but it's really hard because you have to sign a paper that says they're not liable for any damages or anything that might happen, like those suicides that were happening. Like those people.
So you didn't know about the suicides behind it?
I didn't know about the suicides behind it, but I did know that the people that were provoking those people to do it, the ones on the patrol thing, they had signed a contract saying that basically their bosses have nothing to do with that. Basically,
so if they get in trouble for doing it, they get in trouble.
Yes, not their bosses, not the whole patrol thing. Basically, they get taken to court, not the other people. So it's like the other people had nothing to do with it, just them. So that's why. But see, their impression behind the whole thing was that they were signing the contract for like their own physical damages that might happen, like maybe like accidents, like getting hit by a car or something, or like having a heart attack. That was their impression, because the contract was never specific. It was just all under fine print. And you don't read fine print.
Why are you telling me this?
Because I'm not on it, so I got nothing. I mean, if I was on it, I wouldn't be telling you this. But
how do you know this information if you're not on it?
I went to check it out.
Oh, you went to the classic and shit?
No, I just went to the. It was sort of like a seminar. And then I left.
Where was the seminar? City Hall. City Hall? What?
I told you it's coming out of our
So all the politicians are behind this shit?
Yes, all the fucking politicians are behind it. That's why I didn't work for them. I'm like,
Man, the politicians are behind these motherfuckers fucking with me, man. That's crazy. Hey, man, I just want to let you know I appreciate everything, bro.
Yeah.
You gave me a lot of information that, you feel me, motherfuckers been trying to hide from me for a long time, bro. And shit, man, if I could pay you, man, if you need something, man, let me know, man. These gang stalkers is fucking with me. They're fucking with other
the
people.
only thing that would help is a petition to stop this bullshit. If every homeless person, even every, non-homeless person that was tired of this shit, sign a petition, that nobody, this whole city patrol thing wouldn't even be in existence.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, this is like a hero right here. I wouldn't go too far with it, but this guy is a hero. They offered him a job, the gang stalkers, which you guys heard it comes from City Hall, where all the politicians and inbred motherfuckers are. Yeah, man, this guy right here, he gave me a lot of information, gave us a lot of information that's targeted individuals. You want to state your name?
Anthony Coleman, you can call me Tony or T for short.
Anthony Coleman, or Tony or T for short. Appreciate everything. You want to tell the gang stalkers anything?
You gang stalkers, stop the bullshit and quit while you can, because your life is in danger. I guarantee it. If it's not now, it will be in a couple of weeks.
All right. Thanks a lot, bro.
Yes.
Yes, he is a great guy. When I saw this video, that was a while ago. Maybe a couple of, I don't know, weeks after I noticed this thing, I was like, wow. And obviously, this is San Jose, but whatever, any town doing this, that's where they get their meetings. Because obviously, the first responder, all the vigilantes, all the cops, whatever, the agents involved, they have to talk with each other at some point. So it's sure the city's involved. And you know what they say? It's we like tax dollars. That's what's so bad. We work hard for our money, and to kill each other? No, I don't think if the population would know that's what they do with their tax dollars, they'd be proud of this. Anyways, so what we have next? So we got some reference here. So obviously I'm gonna go through. So you should hit pause if you want to go look. And some useful links. Yeah, I'm not gonna be mean. I'm gonna put that in the description as well. So guys, thank you to be with me and for watching. Alright, don't forget to subscribe. See you guys.